Hi everybody. In this video I'm going to go over Project 2. So remember with Project 2, this is the one that you needed to have activated on your cell phone, the screen time usage. For people who have Android phones, usually that's already done, it's already part of it. For those who have iPhones, Apple phones, you usually have to enable it yourself. If you need help with doing either of those, of course, you should have done this at the start of the semester. You can go back to the welcome module in the first week and click on resources. And there's 2 videos that are posted there that can help you with that. So let me go ahead and pull up the screen as you'll see it when you click on it in Canvas. And also one thing to remind all of you about, please remember that if you do have questions, comments, concerns about this project, that you get in touch with me prior to 5 p.m. on the Friday before the assignment is due. That way you can guarantee that you'll get a response prior to the due date for the assignment. Because remember, usually I don't answer emails within 48 hours, and I don't ever answer emails on Sundays. So as with every other project that we do, it's going to have the same kind of format on here. This will be the same format as Project 1. So read over the what next. Remember that you will be graded based on your writing ability also. Specifically that if you have excessive grammar errors, spelling errors, sentence formatting errors, you will receive up to a 20% penalty on your assignment. For this specific project, there are links that are included within the form. And I'm also including them here in case clicking them on the form you have a little bit of problems with. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So remember, all projects are going to be submitted through the Word document that I provided for you, right? You can't use your own documents. So you're going to start by clicking on Project Form. And when you do, you're going to pull up this form. So first step for this project, and this project is going to cover the modules dealing with biopsychology, sensation and perception, and states of consciousness. So you pull this up, and the first thing it's going to ask you to do, step 1, is to go to this link. It's for totalbrain.com. And again, if this link doesn't work, usually what you have to do is you hit the control button, and then it'll turn your cursor into a finger, to a hand, and then you click on the link. If not, you can always just highlight the whole thing and cut and paste it into a web browser. Or, as I've mentioned, you can go back, and this first link here, Online Test on Focus, is a direct link also. So any of those will work. What we'll pull up is this website for Total Brain, and you're going to click on Start Test. It'll go through privacy policy, things like that. Make sure you read it, agree to the terms. And then it'll go through the instructions on what you need to do for the test. The test consists of several different parts, and it's really designed to measure your attention and your focus. So that part is pretty self-explanatory. Now let me go back to the form. So that's step 1. Step 2 is that at the end of taking that test, you're going to get a results page. It's going to give you the results of your test. You need to save those results. You can either do this through doing a screenshot on your computer of those results, or on your phone if you're taking it on your phone. Or if you're on your computer and you don't want to do the screenshot, you just take a photo with your phone and you can submit that. But you do need to submit a photo or a screenshot of those results page, and that's for step 2. You just do it in the space right below it. Step 3, tell me what you think about the results of the test. Do you think that this was an accurate way to measure focus? Do you agree with the results? Do you think that you struggle with paying attention? If so, tell me about it. It's 200 words minimum. If you go over, that's fine. I never penalize people for going over, but you cannot go under. And again, this is your perspective. You're not looking up research on how you think about that test, right? This is your opinion. You use your opinion. That's fine. Step 4, what parts of your nervous system were involved in you taking the online test on focus? Please be specific and name at least 5 anatomical structures and how they played a role in your ability to perform the task. 100-word minimum. With this, you need to be specific. What I've had students do in the past is taking this test involved concentration. That comes from my brain. Taking this test involves processing visual information. That comes from my brain. No. Right? You need to tell me what specific part of your brain is responsible for focus. What specific part of your brain is responsible for processing visual information. So you need to be specific. This is going to help tie in information that we learned in that biopsychology project or module. Step 5, go to your phone and find out your weekly average phone time usage. Please enter the average in the space below. So this is just a number, right? So say on average, every week, I'm using my phone, it depends on what company you use. Some of them report it as like the average per day. So it may be like 5 hours per day, right? Others may do that as a weekly average. So it may say something like every week I'm on my phone 54 hours. Oop, can't type. 54 hours per week. Just make sure you include what this reference is, right? Because if you just put 7, I don't know if you mean 7 hours per day. I don't know if you mean 7 hours per week. So you have to specify. All right. So step 6, were you surprised by how much screen time you have on your phone? Why? In the space below, discuss these 2 questions and tell me if you think that the desire to avoid boredom increases phone usage, which then causes a decrease in a person's ability to focus or pay attention. And explain your answer. What I'm saying here, it sounds confusing, but we play with our phones often just because we're bored. This is the reason why people do it when they're driving, and they shouldn't. This is why people do it when they're waiting for, a doctor's office, or they're waiting to check out at the cash register at the store. But the thing is, isn't paying attention and focusing on something kind of inherently boring? So what I'm trying to get you to do is connect the dots here that maybe the fact that we're so much trying to avoid being bored that we're kind of creating the problems ourselves as far as why it's difficult for us to pay attention and focus. Think of your brain, and this is often said, right? Your brain's a muscle. Well, your brain isn't a muscle, but it does kind of work like it in that the more you use certain parts of it, the better they'll be at functioning. The less you use certain parts of your brain, the less they're going to function. So if you are constantly trying to avoid the parts of your brain that focus and pay attention because it's boring, they're not getting used, which means their functionality is going to decrease. So 200 words for step 6. Step 7 is where you're going to watch another video. Or I'm sorry, you're going to go to a different link. This time it's going to be a video though. So it's a YouTube video. And again, same thing. You can do control and click. You can cut and paste it. Or if you're having problems, go back to Canvas and there's the meditation video there. You're going to watch this video about meditation. It's a fairly short one. I believe it's only about 6 or 7 minutes. And it talks about the basic kind of standard way to meditate. There's many different forms of meditation. This is probably the most simplistic, easy way of doing it. Step 8, write about your experience in the space provided below. Was it difficult, right? So what I want you to do is to watch this video, learn how to meditate, and I want you to do it for 5 minutes. That's it. Just meditate for 5 minutes. And then write about the experience here. Was it difficult? Did you have trouble concentrating? I want you to describe your experience. Now, I know some of you maybe routinely already meditate. I meditate. I'm a huge, huge fan of meditation. If you are somebody who has already meditated, then write about your experiences overall with meditation. This is 200-word minimum. It should be pretty easy for you to write those 200 words. And again, this is just your perspective, your beliefs. If you found your mind wandering a lot or difficult for you to stay focused on your breathing, talk about why that is. Step 9, 100-word minimum. How do you think the practice of meditation may have impacted those anatomical structures you mentioned earlier in this project as being involved in taking the online test? So this is where we're going to tie back into that earlier statement. Remember in one of the earlier steps, I said, what anatomical structures in the brain were involved in you taking that test? Well, if you said something like, the prefrontal lobe, what I want you to do here is say how you think the prefrontal lobe was impacted by doing the meditation. If you said that the amygdala was activated in you taking the online test, then tell me how this meditation may have affected the amygdala, right? So it has to be the same anatomical structures. You're just going to talk about how it is. If you think no change happened, you can write no change happened. But it has to be kind of accurate, right? You can't just, I know some students now hearing that, they're like, oh, I'm just going to list all 5 and say no change happened. No, don't phone it in, right? If you do that, you're going to get points deducted. Step 10, in the space below, write about what you believe the purpose of this project was and how it helped you in applying the terms, concepts learned during this section of the semester. Please also specify if there are any terms or concepts that you still don't feel comfortable with. This is the standard. Every project is going to end with this step, right? It's your opportunity just to kind of connect all the dots for the project. And also to ask me questions. If you still have questions about anything from biopsychology, sensation, perception, states of consciousness, this is your space to ask it. There's no minimum word count, but you do have to write something here. That's one of the requirements for the rubric. And again, going back to Canvas, when it's time for you to submit this, you're going to click Project Submission. Things to remember, important. These are going to basically be the same thing from that form you were just at. If you want to return back to the project page, you click Return. If you want to look at the rubric, scroll down. Here's your rubric. If you want to submit the assignment, you go up to Start Assignment. You're going to upload that Word document, and you're going to click on that Agree to the assignment submission as being your own original work. This puts it through Turnitin. Hit Submit Assignment, and remember, within an hour-ish, give or take, afterwards, you're going to go to Grades, go to this assignment, Project 2, and look at that little colored banner next to it, and make sure that nothing's flagged for like plagiarism or use of AI. If it is, you need to resubmit this, and as long as you do it before the due date, you'll still get full credit. So important that you do that. If you don't do it, and I see that maybe you kind of engaged in plagiarism or you used AI, you're going to get a 0 for the assignment. So that's pretty much it. Hope everybody has a good time with this project. It's kind of one of the fun ones. And of course, as I mentioned, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, make sure you are addressing that with me. You're sending me a Canvas mail prior to 5 p.m. on the Friday before it's due. Other than that, good luck, everybody, and I'll talk to you later.